Good afternoon. My name is Ryder Size. I am a baseball scouting intern at Sports Force, and the purpose of this presentation is to explain why and how creating a TikTok account for the company Sports Force will benefit the company as a whole. So for a little context, first, what is Sports Force? Sports Force is a baseball recruiting company that works with high school and JUCO athletes on getting exposure to play baseball at the collegiate and professional level. And so some of the work that I've been doing is evaluating players based on our rating system, extending out and reaching out to athletes. And then most recently, I've been working on some time coding assignments where I will kind of parse through highlights and film of different athletes and find the best clips of them to then send off to be edited and creating kind of a highlight tape for them. So some of the inefficiencies of reach that I've seen at Sports Force is there's only three main components of social engagement. That's first the traditional media, working with news networks and newspaper articles. And so some of the problems with this is that some of these newspaper articles, even when you go to the link, they're hidden behind paywalls or they just no longer exist. The next would be the company's Twitter page. This is great. It helps you really engage with some of the athletes and can help showcase some of their abilities. However, one of the downsides of this is Twitter isn't as active for the younger generation and a lot of high school students. So I feel like there's a little bit of target market miss there. And then finally, we have the company's website. The company website's great. It's your one-stop shop for everything you need. And really helps athletes kind of navigate what we do and how they can get in contact with us and what are the next steps, as well as some testimonials and kind of what all is going on. However, one of the issues with this though also is the SEO for the website. It isn't the top link. So this makes it harder to get more exposure because the majority of people, if they type in, for example, high school baseball recruiting websites, they're going to be able to click on the first link. And so the thing that makes this tough is getting cleaning up the SEO and really climbing up to the top is pretty expensive and takes a lot of time. So those are some of the inefficiencies I've seen of reach. And then next, I want to talk about how TikTok is kind of taken over. So TikTok just as a whole has just been growing at an unreal rate. It is now the third most used social network in the US. And for Gen Z, 60% of TikTok's users are Gen Zers. And there's 74 million Gen Zers in the United States. So it's the largest generation of all. So this would definitely be a market, especially we're working with high school athletes. This is definitely a market that we want to curtail to. Also, this just allows for further reach for the company, especially when you're considering the customization of the For You page algorithm and how it works. It really can kind of specialize on people's certain interests. Also, this would allow for direct access to the company's links and to really help get the ball rolling with the recruiting process. So I just want to kind of look at some of the examples in other sports and then kind of how it's lacking in baseball and how there's a market to take advantage of here. So if we look here first on the left, you have 247 Sports. They deal mainly with football. They do a great job covering top recruits, highlighting them, as well as Wilson football here. You see you have a little profile, nothing too fancy. Get his height, get his weight. It's a little highlight of him. Gets his name out there, gets him some more exposure. And that's kind of what we would want to be doing here. We also have Eric Duru. He works with the Texas Tech women's basketball team. And he works a lot on his TikTok about recruiting tips, kind of what different coaches are looking for, kind of what different athletes can be doing to help get themselves more exposure and like develop their game and whatnot. And then finally, also we just have under the hashtag recruiting. This is a genre with almost 400 million views. So it is a large market, and there's plenty of potential, and that's only going up. And so then now I want to kind of look at the examples in baseball. So five tool baseball, I think, is probably doing it the best right now. And so they do a great job of hosting events and showcases. And then they use their following to really kind of build a brand around this. And you get to go and, hopefully then, one of your highlights is posted, and it just has a certain, I guess, level of prestige regarding it. And then we have Caden Neeson here, um, just individual content creator, but kind of what he does is like really unique content. He mics up himself and his friends when they're playing, and so this gives you not only you get to see some of the highlights and some of the plays they're making, but then you also get an insight into the personality and kind of what kind of player they are, what kind of person they are, which I think could be like really valuable, especially when college coaches are getting a first impression on a kid. And then finally, we have Bird Dog Baseball, and he's kind of doing what Eric DeRue is doing here. However, I think he's kind of doing it to a lesser scale, and isn't as serious and committed to just the recruiting aspect as Eric DeRue is. So next I want to talk about the plan and kind of what this would entail. And so the three types of content I think that would be wonderful to make would be developing short player showcases. This would be working at camps and showcases, having small interviews, get to know the players, as well as overlap with some of the athletic highlights. And so it gives an opportunity to see both the player's personality as well as his ability. Also would want to provide success stories and testimonies, just their experience with sports force, their experience in the recruiting process, how and when they knew where they wanted to go play ball, all of the above. And then finally, short informational videos, tips, tricks, things to look out for during the recruiting process that can kind of help build a community and help players know what to look out for. Next, I want to look at the resources needed to take on a project like this. And the three main components I see would be a video coordinator. This is someone that is recording, making sure the clips and highlights, interviews, making sure it all looks and sounds as crisp and clean as possible. And then having some editors. These could even be interns, someone that's just trying to, get some experience with doing some professional video editing. And you just need someone that is able to parse through highlights and interviews and make a seamless and entertaining format for the content. And then finally, just the production equipment, cameras, mics, some video editing software, just kind of all the things you would need, basic things you need for making some video production. And then finally, the goals and objectives of this project. The first would be to create a following on social media, and this would help develop a community and really cultivate something where there's a true following, and people are wanting and seeking out the content. And then finally would be to increase the traffic and brand reputation. I think the big thing would be when someone's able to click on your profile, you have the link right to the website or the Twitter page, they can go right to that link. This is giving more exposure, more traffic, and then hopefully eventually producing more clientele and increased revenue. And then finally, just an increase in the brand reputation of being a young, committed company that athletes alike can respect and really want to work with.